Welcome to Paddock Talk, guys. It's been a big week of news off the track in Formula 1 this week, hasn't it? And we'll jump straight into it. Aston Martin have sought a right to review for the Alonso sprint penalty. He got a 10-second penalty and 3 penalty points, which for the collision with Carlos Sainz, which I think was ridiculously harsh. The hearing will take place on Friday the 3rd of May, so just at the start of the weekend of racing in Miami. Aston Martin need to show that they've got some new evidence which wasn't considered at the time by the stewards that made the decision for that penalty, and that's a massive hurdle to overcome. We've not seen one go past this first stage yet into the second stage, have we? I think it's really harsh that Alonso got 3 penalty points for that collision, especially given it was part of the racing, looked like a racing incident. And when you look at the corners before, which Alonso described, Sainz made that same sort of manoeuvre on Alonso, but Alonso gave him space, Carlos Sainz didn't, and that's why they collided. And so when you look at that, I think it's ridiculous, especially considering there was another driver got penalty points, wasn't it? Lance Stroll, for wiping out Daniel Ricciardo, but only got 2 penalty points on his license, which there's clear, one guy just took the other guy out from the back, and one was a bit of a racing incident. And yeah, I think Alonso was harshly done by, especially on that points front. Let's see what comes of that. I don't expect much, because given there's such a high barrier for Aston Martin to overcome on that front. And then Nico Hulkenberg rejoins Sauber. He'll be joining in 2025. He was there for one season in 2013. And he's had a very odd career, hasn't he, Nico Hulkenberg? The nearly man. He's highly rated by most in Formula 1, to be honest with you. And it's a bit surprising he's not got a gig at a big club, a big team. I'm talking football here in my head. But yeah, he's not got that seat at a big team yet, and I think that's quite disappointing, actually, because he's a fantastic driver. He's seen what he's gone in and done at Haas. Incredible speed over one lap. Yes, he should do slightly better from his qualifying performances in race conditions. I think there's places where he can probably be better in his racecraft, but he fights like an absolute dog. He's brilliant, and I'm surprised another bigger sort of team haven't snapped him up. But yeah, he was out of F1 for 3 years, from 2020 to 2023. Got finally a full race seat at Haas, and he's done a tremendous job there. He's signed a multi-year deal with Sauber, which will turn into Audi. I think it's a great signing for them, especially for a new team making their way in to Formula 1. That guy is a steady pair of hands. We've seen how stable and steady he's been with Haas. Consistent, pulls in points, is a really mighty racer. And I think Audi have done a really good, shrewd business signing him as a German in a German outfit. He was very happy about that, and yeah, rightly so. Is it going to be a bit of a step down from Haas? Maybe early on, depending on how Audi get on top of their engine, because we know Haas will have the Ferrari customer engine, so the Haas should be in decent hands on that front. But I think eventually Audi will come good, and I think it was a good opportunity for Nico Hulkenberg to take. The big news really was there was no announcement of whose seat he's taking at Sauber for next year. Is it going to be Bottas or Zhou Guanyu, or both for that matter? Because we know Audi are in the hunt to sign Carlos Sainz. Red Bull have sort of let the rabbit out of the hat, saying that they've made a massive offer for Carlos Sainz that they can't match. So we know there's an offer on the table for Audi. So is it going to be an all new lineup, and Nico Hulkenberg and Carlos Sainz both taking that seat? I think that'll be a fantastic pairing for Audi going forward. Both fantastic drivers, both absolute fighters. So if they do that, that's really, really interesting. But I think if there's no Red Bull seat for Carlos Sainz, I do think he'll take the Audi seat. It's really the only big seat left up at the front in F1 at the moment. He could go to Alpine, but they seem all over the place at the moment. I'm not sure that's a seat you'd be really courting. And so Audi, with the new exciting outfit coming, I think that would be a nice place to go. So yeah, if Red Bull or Carlos Sainz doesn't get the Red Bull seat of potentially either Max Verstappen or Sergio Perez at this stage, given that Adrian Newey is now left, and that's another one I'll come to in a minute. You know, there's a lot still to play for in this driver market. We just don't know who's going to go where. Bottas apparently has options elsewhere in Formula 1, but Zhou Guanyu, sadly at the moment, doesn't appear he's got a seat. And yeah, I just don't see what he's done yet in Formula 1 that will, you know, a jump out drive or a real fantastic moment from him yet. I'm really not quite seeing it. It's his second or third season in Formula 1 now, and so he should have really shone through with, if there's some magic in there within him, it would have shone through. And I think sadly it looks like it might be the end of the road for Zhou Guanyu. Bottas could go elsewhere. Where? Who knows? He could take the Williams seat, isn't it? Take the seat of Logan Sargent. If Williams go down the route of like Haas have two safe pair of hands, they've had an expensive repair bill, haven't they, so far early this season? So there's potential that, you know, a Bottas in that seat alongside Alex Albon could do really, really well for Williams. Two safe pair of hands, and look at the fruit it's bore for a Haas team. So a potential there for Bottas. But yeah, who takes Hulkenberg's seat from Haas? Now, Ollie Berman looks number one for that spot, and he, purely down to when he replaced Carlos Sainz, absolutely fantastic job he did there, didn't he? So he really put himself in that seat. Everybody, even Gunther Steiner, right at the end was like, I'd put him in my seat after that performance, if that was it. Again, Valtteri Bottas could also go to Haas. We know that they are a bit reluctant potentially on signing a fresh new driver. They've gone from an all fresh driver lineup to, or rookie driver lineup, to a really experienced driver lineup, and it's kind of worked for them. So Valtteri Bottas in there, another shout that could take that Haas seat if there's no other option for him. And I think again he's a really good safe pair of hands. He can pull off some decent results. Brill bring the car home without putting it in the wall. There's also Daniel Ricciardo. If there's no seat left at Red Bull Racing, you know he's gone in there to try and put Sergio Perez out of a seat. It's not really gone too well for him, that has it. This season he's not really put in any magical performances where you think, yes, Danny Rick is back and he's the man for that seat. So who knows? And then there's also Sergio Perez, which, you know, if Sainz goes to Red Bull and he's out of a seat, could he want, and if he still wants to race in Formula 1, I think it'll be a really good deal for the Haas team. He brings with him a lot of money, so no doubt him, Williams, you know, there's plenty of places for Perez to go, no doubt. But it's interesting, isn't it? There's a lot still going on in this driver market. Who knows? Anybody could end up anywhere with the way this season is going. Next up, Adrian Newey is leaving Red Bull. You can watch my video I've just put out on that, with my thoughts on that, and I think that's a massive move. You know, I think, does that put Red Bull in a spot of bother? I think it definitely does with the big regulation changes for 2026. And Adrian, wherever he goes, we know he can go straight in and work on that car, because he's effectively off Formula 1 duties from Red Bull from now. So he's serving his gardening leave. So at the end or the beginning of 2025, he can go straight in to his new team, wherever that might be. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he lines up there. Can't wait for that one. And Ferrari have signed a massive deal with HP, haven't they? They're a title sponsor, the first one they've had since Philip Morris, the Winnow one. So, yeah, let's get the rabbit elephant out of the hat. That logo on that car just looks awful, doesn't it? It just the big blue round blob plastered everywhere on the race suit and the car. What was probably one of the best designs of the season now looks awful, doesn't it? So Yeah, there's a change of name now. They're now called Scuderia Ferrari HP. It's a multi-year deal. Ferrari will now use HP equipment throughout their factory and all their products, a full range of products for them. The deal's worth approximately 2/3 of the running costs yearly that Ferrari spend on the F1 team, and so HP are committing all that funds. It's a massive commitment from them, and could they use that to pay Adrian Newey and get him in there? I'm sure they'll be using it partly for what they've paid for Lewis Hamilton. The next one, Gunther Steiner has sued Haas F1 team. He's due to monies owed for commissions due to him from 21, 22 and 23, and also using his image and his brand on products without his consent and without paying royalties since they terminated his contract. That's just new, that one. And finally, there's been a tightening up of the jump start rules. It was only punished if the transponder detected any movement before the car went off, and we know that's failed. Lando Norris clearly moved in Saudi and wasn't punished, but the transponder didn't go off, so the rule was that if there was no detection on that, then there's no grounds for a penalty. The rules changed now, where it's no longer just solely reliant on the transponder. If there's video evidence that they moved after the 4-second light, a penalty can be given by the stewards. So we'll see that immediately into the rule book. So any going on from here, anything like that, the stewards have the facilities now to penalise anyone for a jump start. And yeah, that's it. Big week on Paddock Talk, big news. Yeah, exciting, a lot more to come. I mean, this driver market looks absolutely crazy. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe and comment as always. See you next time.